Hey everyone, welcome back to Ganai's F1 News. We're diving straight into some juicy transfer talk. According to motorsport.com, Oscar Piastri has responded to reports that he's on Red Bull's radar as a potential long-term replacement for Max Verstappen should the Dutchman decide to leave the team. Now, the McLaren driver says he's genuinely flattered by the interest, but here's the thing, he's denying any direct knowledge of Red Bull's intentions. The paddock's been buzzing about this since earlier in May when reports surfaced that Piastri was being considered as a Plan B option. It's a compliment to his abilities, no doubt, but for now, the Australian is keeping his cards close to his chest and staying focused on his role at McLaren. In another major story, Lewis Hamilton has made a crystal-clear statement about his future. Speaking to reporters at the Canadian Grand Prix press conference, as reported by motorsport.com, Hamilton says he is 100% committed to staying at Ferrari, and he's not entertaining any thoughts of retirement. The seven-time world champion joined Ferrari on a multi-year deal, and he's made it abundantly clear that he plans to remain in Formula One for quite some time. Hamilton's doubling down on his commitment to the Scuderia, dismissing any chatter from people who might be trying to push him toward calling it quits. It's a strong statement of intent as he looks to bring success back to Maranello. Now here's something that could reshape the entire grid. Max Verstappen has just returned to Montreal after his 24-hour Nürburgring adventure, and he's got some positive news about the sport's direction. According to Autosport, Verstappen says the new engine regulation changes planned for 2027 are looking very positive and will definitely help him stay in Formula One. The Dutchman has been notoriously critical of the current technical regulations, but developments made since the Miami Grand Prix have him feeling more optimistic about where the sport's heading. The FIA has announced an agreement in principle to shift the power unit balance to roughly a 60-40 split, favoring the internal combustion engine over the hybrid system. For Max, that's music to his ears, and it signals he's not ready to walk away from the sport anytime soon. Moving to Mercedes, and there's some serious pressure building for George Russell. According to motorsport.com, former driver David Coulthard believes this Canadian Grand Prix is absolutely critical for Russell psychologically. Kimi Antonelli has extended his championship lead to an impressive 20 points over the Briton after 3 consecutive wins in China, Japan, and Miami. That's a huge gap, and Russell needs to reassert his authority at Mercedes if he's going to salvage his season. This weekend at the Wall of Champions is going to be crucial. It's do-or-die time for George, and the pressure is definitely mounting as a younger teammate is showing serious pace. Coulthard's warning is clear. This is a moment that could define Russell's entire campaign. Fernando Alonso has delivered a scathing critique of modern Formula One racing. As reported by motorsport.com, the Aston Martin driver says that F1 has lost a full decade of pure racing. Here's his hot take. What everyone calls overtaking now is really just avoiding actions, not genuine competitive moves. Alonso believes the sport's technical regulations over the past 10 years have fundamentally changed what racing looks like, and not for the better. While the FIA and Liberty Media are working on 2027 regulation tweaks to improve things, Alonso is calling for them to be tougher in pushing those changes through. He's frustrated that too many passes are just drivers moving out of the way rather than exciting, hard-fought battle for position. Coming from a 2-time world champion with decades of experience, that's a pretty damning assessment of where the sport stands right now. The Canadian Grand Prix forecast is looking unpredictable, and that's got the paddock nervous. According to motorsport.com, legendary Sky Sports analyst Martin Brundle believes the current grid is a little bit scared of what wet weather driving will look like with the new regulation cars. Nobody really knows how these machines will behave in the rain, and that's creating genuine anxiety among drivers. The last thing we saw was dry conditions dominating the early season, so there's real uncertainty about how the new hybrid power units and chassis packages will handle slippery conditions. Brundle's suggesting we could see some serious drama this weekend if the weather turns, because the drivers will be operating in uncharted territory. That's either going to make for incredible racing or chaos, possibly both. And finally, some lighter news before we wrap up. George Russell has reluctantly been reminded of a promise he made a while back. According to motorsport.com, Russell once swore that if he ever won the Canadian Grand Prix, he would jump into the lake at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Well, Mercedes pulled up old video footage of him making that commitment, and now he's been backed into a corner to honor it. In a hilarious video shared on the Mercedes social media channels, Russell looks pretty uncomfortable about the whole thing, but he's agreed to do it if he takes the checkered flag this weekend. So if George wins in Montreal, we're getting a lake dive. That's a fun storyline running into the race, and it'll be entertaining either way. Do we see Russell jumping in icy water, or does someone else take the victory?